So to get my bread ready, I've got a serrated knife, so I've switched out my implement. This is going to have a crusty crust on it. I'm looking for something that is a thicker ciabatta. This is called pane di casa. They sell it at Harris Teeter. A loaf of Italian bread or even a baguette would work. But I want bread with some body, and I want to do it on like sandwich bread, Wonder Bread. And because I need something that's going to grab in and tear through that crust, the serrated knife is the way to go. Your basic way of holding it is exactly the same, thumb and forefinger pinching, bear claw, but the way I use the knife is different. A chef's knife glides through, and it's like butter when it goes through things. A serrated knife, you want to pretend you're like a violin bow. So I want to allow the teeth to do the work, and I'm not engaging my upper arm muscles really at all to do it. If I force the knife through, that's when it skips and goes into my knuckles. And I've said it before, the cut you get from a serrated knife is much worse than the cut from a sharp chef's knife or paring knife. It does a lot more damage. So this cut is 3/4 of an inch thick, so grab your ruler for your first cut and check it out. See what that is. It's a little bit thicker than the tomatoes. All right, bear claw, get some pressure going down on the bread so it's not going to slide, and then look over what you're doing so you get a nice perpendicular cut, and let that violin bow, the back and forth motion, work through the tough outer crust of the bread. So I'm going to reposition for my next cut, 3/4 of an inch, and let the violin do the work. Okay, you can think of it like a violin or like two lumberjacks pulling one of those big saws back and forth on either side of a giant tree. I like the violin one. So this takes about 1/3 to 1/2 of a big loaf like this. So I'm going to cut a couple more slices. And my goal is to keep my knife perpendicular to the board so I don't have slanted wedge cuts. I want evenly thick cuts on there. Okay, make sure you get all the way through to the bottom. That's probably about right. Might go one more. All right, and I'll save the rest of this loaf for something else. Now I've got nice slices of bread, and I will brush them with olive oil next. I think the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of olive oil, and it says to use it all. So I'm going to get my pastry brush, and I'll brush it all on there and be right back. I'm going to check my tomatoes.